You know that feeling when you're reading a poem and it feels like a puzzle you just can't solve? Well, let's flip that idea on its head. What if a poem isn't a puzzle at all, but more like a building? A structure where every single word is a brick placed just so to create this powerful emotional experience. That's what we're diving into today, how poets become the architects of emotion.
And this right here, this quote, this is the key to everything we're talking about. So many of us were taught that poetic devices are there to make things complicated, to confuse us, but that's not it at all. It's actually the exact opposite. These are super specialized tools designed to express feelings and ideas that, our normal everyday language just can't quite capture. Their whole point is clarity.
Okay, so every architect needs a blueprint, right? And a toolkit. So for this first part, let's crack open the poet's toolbox and really look at the essential devices they use to build all these amazing layers of meaning and feeling. First up, we've got the palette of comparison. And this is all about making connections. Think about it, a simile. That's a gentle comparison using like or as. A metaphor, it's way more direct. It says one thing is another thing, period. And then you've got personification, which is just so cool. It brings stuff to life, giving human qualities to things like the wind or a river. All these tools, they paint these incredibly vivid pictures by linking something we already get to something new.
Now this next set of tools, this is where poetry kind of sneaks past our logical brain and hits us right in the senses. Imagery, for example, isn't just about what you see. It's about tastes and touch and smell. And then there's the sound. Things like alliteration and onomatopoeia. They're basically the musical instruments in the poet's orchestra. They create a rhythm that makes the poem a physical, almost an auditory experience.
And finally, we have the tools that really control the poem's structure and its flow. Symbolism, for instance, can pack a gigantic idea into a single simple object, like a dove meaning peace. Rhyme and repetition, they create these patterns that are just so memorable. And then there's a really neat one called enjambment. That's where a sentence just spills over from one line to the next, and it really drives you forward, controlling the whole pace of the poem.
So, we've seen the blueprint. Now, how about we go tour some of the finished buildings? In this section, we're going to move from all the theory to the actual practice. We'll see exactly how these tools are used by master poets to construct these really specific and powerful emotional worlds.
Okay, first stop, a world of cold, hollow sincerity. The poet here uses these absolutely incredible metaphors to paint a picture of a society where emotions are just an act. Ice block cold eyes, laugh with their teeth, shake hands without hearts. I mean, wow. These aren't just descriptions, are they? They are meticulously building this feeling of deep alienation, this real longing for a genuine connection.
Now let's switch gears to a totally different world. Here in Another Woman, the poet builds this suffocating atmosphere of oppression. That metaphor, weight of sky on her head, isn't that just brilliant? It makes an emotional burden feel physically crushing, like you can feel it yourself. You pair that with imagery like a face is the color of the earth, and it just paints this devastating picture of total exhaustion and trauma.
This next one, it's just heartbreaking. And the poetic devices are exactly what make it so visceral, so real. The poet uses this sharp sensory imagery, a filthy black cat, a baby turning cyanosed, to pull us right into the horror of the scene. And the personification is genius. The eerie silence isn't just a lack of sound. It becomes this active, monstrous force that literally swallows the baby's cries. It's chilling.
And here, we see the same tools being used to send a really powerful warning. The entire poem really hinges on this one central symbol, the dreamer. And who's the dreamer? It's all of us, all of humanity basically asleep at the wheel while our planet is in crisis. By personifying the jungle, making it listen, the poet creates this silent witness to our inaction. It makes that call to wake up feel so much more urgent.
All right, we've done some pretty deep dives. How about a quick lightning round? Let's see just how versatile these tools are across a bunch of different themes. You ready? Let's spot some devices. So how do you even begin to describe a feeling like hope? Well, you give it a form. In these poems, a dream becomes a tiny spark, and courage becomes a light within. Personification makes them active. A dream whispers, courage is standing strong. And that's the whole game right there. These devices make these big, abstract feelings totally concrete and relatable. Okay, now let's look at nature. Instead of just describing a river, the poet gives it a voice. It sings a song. A seed doesn't just grow, it waits and it climbs, like it has a purpose. See how that works? Personification completely transforms nature from just a passive background into a living, breathing character.
And for our last stop in this lightning round, just look at how poets tackle these huge concepts like time and belief. How do they do it? They turn them into physical things we can imagine. Belief is given wings so it can fly. Time leaves footprints in the sand. This really gets to the core function of metaphor, making the abstract concrete.
So after all these examples, we're back to that big question. Why does any of this matter? And it matters because this isn't just about clever wordplay. It's a whole other language, a really unique and powerful one, designed specifically to communicate the deepest parts of what it means to be human.
And here it is, the architect's blueprint, all laid out for you. From simile all the way to enjambment, every single device is a specialized tool. And when they work together, they build a structure that can hold a really complex emotion or a profound idea. This is the toolkit for saying the unsayable. So, we've seen the blueprint, we've toured the architecture. What's the big takeaway? It's this. Poems aren't locked doors. They're more like open houses, just waiting for you to come in and see how they were built. So the next time you read one, don't just see the words on the page. Look for the tools, watch the structure rise, and ask yourself, what emotion is this architect building for me?